into something much more. Would you like to, without giving the book away, would you like to describe that? Because it's very delicate and very nuanced as to how they become lovers. Maybe, maybe not.
I think that's maybe in the reader's head. I'm not going to give away too much, but there's certainly, there are various circumstances, and Mala ends up going back to the UK with Sharma and Toby, very unforeseen circumstances. And so they have this very strange situation where the woman who was meant to be actually a remote surrogate is now in their house, and they are looking after her. She is growing classified today. She's suddenly a member of the family. She can't just be a womb for hire anymore. She's a person. And that person, and the fact that she's real and that growing child, has very profound consequences for the relationship in the house. And I'm not sure Toby falls in love with her, but what he can't deny is that he's in the middle of two women, one of whom he loves, who can't give him a child, and one of whom he doesn't know who is carrying his child. And it is about that final thing that I think men often have, which is that future and attaching them.
For me, really, the Sri is a paragraph where you clear of every parent and you say every parent wonders, what if the creation turns out to be flawed?
Yes.
Can you give it back or not back like a wow.
Comment. Of course, when it's your own child, of course, as Indian parents, we'll be children perfect anyway, or at least should be. But certainly when it comes to choosing a surrogate child, it is like going shopping. It's like shopping from a catalogue. You know, you choose the perfect donor, you choose the perfect donor egg, you choose the perfect sperm. It is like creating the super race. And there have certainly been cases of child that have been something wrong with them that the parents left behind. Have just literally said, we don't want that baby. I know we paid for it, but we don't want it. There's something wrong with it, take it back. And I think that very much does tell you what the underlying morality is of some of the surrogacy industry.
Were you making a critical statement in this book about surrogacy? Is that how you really feel about it? That it's a moral issue and that sometimes it's misused?
I think it's a very complicated and layered subject, which is exactly why I wanted to write about it, because as a writer, those subjects are drifts, because your perspective shifts according to who you are. If you are a desperately infertile couple, and this is your only way to fulfill your dreams, you will have one dream. If you are somebody that in India to surrogate parents, the parents have to return to their homeland, somewhere like France, where it's actually legal, and they're into foster care. I mean, it's a ridiculous situation. So, on the one hand, you have this industry worth $4.5 billion in India a year, and yet you have no international agreements between the major countries, so something is going to go wrong. There has to be, if it's going to continue, there have to be international guidelines, and there certainly has to be more protection for the surrogate mothers, and in some cases, the surrogate parents.
I think we are the example of these laws in the English. 2 months ago, there has been a strong initiative from the government to regulate it far better and to bring in more responsibility, all of that. But what kind of research have you do the surrogacy? Yeah, because you described it in such detail Did you interview a lot of parents?
That is how some, a small minority, according to some of the research I did in the programs I watched, for me it seems very odd that if you're creating a child that you actually do everything completely online. Seems very, very remote. About the process for some of the surrogate mothers.
But in the context of how touchy we are right now in India about any comment, uh, it says Master G seemed to favor any story that warned girls about bad behavior and the consequences of disobeying their men. Sita, kidnapped by the demon Ravan, after stepping out of the golden circle of protection, drawn for her by her husband Lord Ram, was one of his favorites. Yet one story had stuck with her. How could it not? That doctor woman had recited it to all the Hindu women who entered her doors. Surrogacy is even blessed by a holy book. You have heard about Lord Krishna's own brother Balaram. He was transferred from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini to ensure his safe birth. When Mala had asked why Dr. Pasi had given her an impatient look, you say, Dr. Pasi, look it up, she said, and remind yourself that what you're doing is approved by the gods. I hope we won't have protests on the streets about a fairly nauseous reference, which then we're all to read. But you have woven in a lot of this mythology. There is also common what Mala experiences, what she expresses, is very different from the sophisticated world that Shobhaa comes from, and of course with Toby, it's a different relationship altogether. And towards the end, when the parents are brought back to live with the family. And the narrative, the characters say they were finally home. So I want to ask you, what is home? Not where is home.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the parents actually, because that subplot is all about that question, what is home? Shobhaa's parents, who live at the bottom of her garden, it's almost a joint family. And the subplot is that they bought a retirement flat in India and foolishly allowed some of their relatives to live in it. And you can guess what happened next. The relatives don't leave it. And you follow their fortunes as they go in and out of the Indian judicial system and the courts, trying to get this property back. And I wanted to very much include this as a subplot in the book. Firstly, because I think it was such an interesting way of exploring what home meant to that generation. My parents' generation, who always thought they would be tied to India, sent money back to India in preparation for retirement, only to have all of those dreams broken and to find that at the end of the day, that wasn't going to happen. They were going to spend their old age in a foreign country. Home had become something different. And also because that storyline was directly influenced by something that happened in my own family. And I can truly say it broke my father's heart that somebody of his blood would put money and greed before a relationship. And certainly to my parents, they did get their flat back, but by the time they got it back, they were both too ill and old to enjoy it. And they had spent all those years fighting a completely pointless court case. And it's a very, very big issue for NRIs. It's a very, very common thing. And I've had so much reaction to that subplot from NRIs, and I have the surrogacy. Actually, so many people said that's happened to my parents. But I thought it was a very interesting contrast that you have the grandparents who think of returning home and then find out that home is something different. And then you have the third generation, Shobhaa's daughter, who begins to see her future as back in India, a country that she doesn't know and has never been to. And that is actually happening. I've seen a lot of third generation kids who really don't know the country that well, whose relationship is much more remote, who are increasingly seeing the opportunity in India and are coming over and loving it.
You have wrote a Rivaya towards the end of the book, and the last few powerful pages are about the rape which not just shocked India, but it was a defining moment in raising awareness and consciousness of what was so terribly wrong, not just in India but across the world. So how did you fit in Rivaya into this narrative and why?
Well, the book is set in 2012 deliberately because I felt that was such a defining moment, as you say, for so many of us. It's not that the violence against women has not been going on for years, decades, centuries, and it somehow became used as everyday brutality of it. There was something about the brutality of this case that was enough to bring India out onto the street, and not just people here, but all over the world. We were on the streets in London, in Paris, in the States, everywhere around the world. There was something about this case that made people go, enough is enough, we really need to look at this issue together. And what I found very heartening was that it was men and women side by side on the street, and I thought that was one of the most positive things I've ever seen. And it also, for me, it did link in very much with the surrogacy debate, because I think what I've tried to do through the book is look at the issue of who owns a woman's body and the ownership of women's bodies. And for me, that event certainly made that very starkly.
We have time to take questions from the audience, and why don't we start on the questions from you?
Actually, we were talking about how surrogacy is such an important and last and desperate attempt. So just through your research and whatever journey you took, do you think adoption was ever considered and dropped, or was it never an issue? It was my child, so it has to be surrogacy. So it's not a question of having a child. Is that what drives people?
And that's a very good question. In fact, certainly in the book, Sharma and Toby have looked at that option, and I don't know if it's an issue here, but certainly the issue in Britain is that the adoption waiting lists are very, very long. It can take